So, what do you do? I feel like this is a question that doesn't really quite define anything now, because what I do really is a reflection of who I am and what I stand for as a woman. And, but if I have to answer this, like my clients come to me, or most people are drawn to my work, is for liberation and authenticity. Are two very highly charged words, and it means very different things to different people on how liberation looks like or how authenticity looks like for different people. And for me, liberation has been such a journey, because I truly feel that, my life, like all my life, my quest for free, I was on this quest of freedom, whether it's from breaking, it started from breaking free of everything that I've known of, like societal conditioning, cultural conditioning, all these different things that we were told of what we should do, the 9-to-5 jobs, the relationship, everything that's set out for you. And so before I even know that I was on this path of freedom, I have already been doing it. It's almost like it's in my soul, because my parents are not very adventurous or, wild and liberated like I am. And so that was a big part of my 20s. And I have come to this framework or this methodology or this analogy to kind of give you a view of different, how freedom looks like in my world. And they are not necessarily linear. I feel that there are moments where there's crossover, and there are moments where there might be some sort of intersection. And so there's three kinds of freedom. There's the freedom of breaking free of everything that you've ever known, everything that they've told you to do, to be, to have, on how to live your life. And then there is the freedom to do whatever it is that you want to do. And then there's the freedom to be who you really are. And I feel the first two parts is very much ego-driven. And I know in the spiritual world, ego gets a really bad rep. And for me, I've learned to befriend my ego. It's still a relationship that's going. But the first two part of the journey of the freedom to break free of that, and the freedom to do whatever it is that you want, I feel that it's very much ego-driven. There is this part of you that is excited, that is going to chase your dream, that I'm not taking the shit of I'm gonna see what's out there, because I don't subscribe to whatever it is that I've been told. So your soul already knew before you come to this planet. And in my analogy, what I call that is going from the set meal life to the buffet life. And I feel like it's part of the journey that many of us experience before our Saturn return. Your Saturn return is around when you're 29. Oh my God. I really am trying to not get annoyed by the constructions, because I feel like this is part of the charm, and it is what it is. So I feel like that's where a lot of people that are on this path of entrepreneurship, of soul searching, of traveling, goes from a set meal life to the buffet life, of seeing options, of knowing that there are options, of knowing that there is a way outside of what your current circumstances are. And I feel that those are that was a journey that was very important through our journey in my life, that I have recently kind of really embrace that part of me, because I feel that when you're going through an awakening, or you're going through your self-discovery journey, or you're just stepping into the person that you're here to be as a leader, as an entrepreneur, as a visionary, it's almost like your ego always needs to okay, now I'm this person, so the parts of me that has led me up to this person is wrong, it's not right. And we are humans, and I feel like part of living this courageous, bold, courageous, and a life worth living is that you would have made reckless decisions. You would have done things that people would go, what the fuck is wrong with you? There would be moments where people would go, like, what it is? But it's through those reckless decisions, it's through those moments that shape the person that you are today. And without those experiences, you wouldn't have known what you want and what you don't want. And I'm very pulled to share this, to create this video, because I feel that, I rekindled with a friend that I met back in 2019. And long story short, we met at a sex party after he has seen me given a talk about marketing in a very professional setting. And that was still one of the best stories, like seriously, This is also why, when you live this life, like you have cool stories to tell, like lived experience, not from reading fucking Joe Dispenza or reading like Eckhart Tolle of like regenerating like philosophies or comments. Like every philosophies or anything that I share on my channel, on any form of my work in my programs, are all through my lived experience, not just channeling, not just reading. Like I lived it and I experienced it. And so we were just having conversations, and it was very nice, and it was very heartwarming for me to be seen through my transformation. And this is also an intention that I've set at the start of this month, is that I'm ready to be seen in my light and my love. I feel that when I was going through my inner work journey, my shadow work journey, and really like incorporated my scorpionic like energy in the last 2 to 3 years, which is all about the subconscious, which is all about the unseen, which is all about the depth of our emotions. So, that became my thing of being the taboo, and and I feel like a part of that, there was still this little flavor of me needing to be validated, to be proven that, well, you're good enough, that you need to do that. And there was still a part of that of needing to be right and to be seen as different versus I just am different. Like it is what it is, there is this shift of energy that makes it a lot more like fun and alive, right? And so having that reflected back to me, and he was like, wow, you have done a complete 360. Like when he met me, I was just like wild and like saying yes to everything, like doing all these crazy things that most people would not have said yes to in their lifetime. And having that reflected back to me, and what I remember from it is that you do have to go through the other end to realize what is and what is not for you. And that has been a motto that I have taken on from as long as I can remember, is that, how many of you remember that people go and, say, someone said you shouldn't do this. Someone is talking about that, about you, when you ask them, who the fuck is this someone? And they can't tell you who this someone is. This someone is just this imaginary fucking thing that has been passed on 50,000 years ago, and no one bothers to like validate that. It's like Chinese whisperer. You just keep, passing on. And there's actually this idiom or this like catchphrase in Mandarin. I think it's called Yao Yuan Zhi Zai Zhi Zhe. My Mandarin is like rusty, but essentially what it translates to is that gossips will stop at gossip stops at an intelligent person. So the people who aren't aware, people who aren't intelligent, people who aren't conscious would just continue passing on the gossip that they've heard from someone without validating the source, without doing their own research, without contemplating on that. Something that we've seen going rampant in the past 3 years, and now it's just that's a whole conversation on its own. But that has always been my motto of life, of, whatever it is that someone tells me, I within means I'm going to try it out for myself if it's something that is on interest and it's from a place of curiosity. So that was the conversation, that was how the conversation went. And I truly believe that we if you want to live an authentic life and a liberated life, it's up to you as the experiencer of this human body, of this life, of this uncovering the purpose of what it is for you to inquire, to go through this self-inquiry through experiences that you want, because you never know what it is. And like I tell people that I'm probably one of the most kinky motherfucker you ever know. But the thing is, kink doesn't if you go back to my videos or my work about 2 years ago, it's it gives me this it really activates my life force. But then it no longer is taboo for me because it's normal. I could just say about, hey, you want to grab a cup of coffee with, oh yeah, choking is such a great way to get into this altered state of consciousness in a sexual setting. It just is, right? And that's because I have gone through the full spectrum of it, that, I'm no longer well, you're so vanilla. There's this polarity. But I feel that as humans, polarity is what gives us the human experience. It's why our soul chose to reincarnate in this planet. And the fun part about being able to experience the full spectrum, the full range, whether it's emotions, whether it's experience, whether it's whatever it is that is for you, is so that you know where balance is for you. And I think a big part of this awakening, a big part of this collective death and rebirth really is around restoring balance of this planet. And how do you know where balance is when you've never been on top of the scale? It's all right, if this is the spectrum, and if you only live within this range, your balance would be here. And it's not even balance. But if you have experience through the full range of what it means to be human, then your balance would be here. And you know that balance is never 50-50. It's a dance, right? It's something that you get to be fluid with. So that essentially to me is, that's how I view liberation and authenticity, is that what is true for you at this moment? True is ever changing. There is a universal truth, there's law of polarity, there's all these different laws that I'm not going to go into. That's universal truth. And then there is truth. And truth is ever moving as you evolve as a human being. And so if your truth doesn't change, you have been stagnant. And so that is also part of the joy of living life as a multidimensional being, with different textures, with different flavors, with different layers and all that stuff. That's what makes us human. And I feel like that was the part of me that I kind of forgotten for a little bit, because I was, so up here with my spiritual stuff. And again, I needed to first be super extreme with success, with business, with entrepreneurship, with whatever, everything, the material stuff, to going all the way to the end to be spiritual, to go desireless, so that I can redefine what desire means to me and really getting clear on what I want. And a lot of people, especially successful entrepreneurs, successful executives, successful CEOs, why they hit a point of depression or this emptiness, this numbness of what the fuck is going on with my life? And then they go on the extreme end of, just having a buffet, going hedonism and doing whatever the fuck they want, is because they have been chasing this thing, which is not their North Star, which is not their path. It's something that has been given by them, that is not the seed that is planted by God. And then when they get here, they thought they were going to feel something, and it didn't. And imagine when you have put all your energy into that, and not understanding the way of life, like, you know, some that you gain and you lose some. There is this life and death, like the cycle of life. Like what happens when you reach the top and it's not what you expect it to be. That's when you're living from the outside in, right? So you are determined, you are allowing your external reality to dictate how you feel on the inside. And this is why there's so many people that are on this journey of finding peace. And finding peace is something that you get to do at this moment when you set yourself free of whatever expectation, whatever notion, whatever identity that you have. And you know, when I say about how ego is important, like we need identity at the start of it, we need identity to navigate through this world. And part of liberation is that knowing that your identity is always shape-shifting. You know that the identity is almost like this beautiful like costume that you get to put on to who you want to become. But the soul of who you are does not change. You know, who you really are on the inside is not being determined by that costume on the outside. You know, it's great that the costume gets to reflect on the inside of, you know, what role you want to play. It's like if you know kink, it's like today you want to be the dominatrix, tomorrow you want to be that daddy little girl. You get to choose, right? And so until you understand that and live that and experience that through your feelings, through your flesh, through your bones, it's gonna be a fucking loop that, like, if you just know conceptually, it's gonna keep you trapped. And this is also the downside of being overly intelligent and highly educated and being incredibly smart. Because instead of feeling what you're feeling, instead of experiencing what you're experiencing, instead of just being with it and sitting with it, you try to identify it, you try to label it, you try to, okay, I am avoidant, attached, you know, avoidant, dissociative, whatever. I am, you know, all that tests that you do once, you know, on your journey of trying to figure out your personality. And it's great, right? Like I said, we all go through different moments in our journey to learn the lessons, to get to know ourselves. And I feel now how I see experiences, how I see interactions really is an opportunity for us to receive information, to have information reflect back to us to what we need to know that supports our natural evolution. Because law of nature, universal law, evolution is natural. It's part of who we are. Like, we don't have to try to evolve. When you're not evolving, it's because you're getting in your way of that natural evolution, right? It's like God made you to win. God created you to win in whatever shape or form your purpose is in this life. So really your only job is to come back to yourself and ask yourself, who the fuck am I? Like, that is essentially, you know, if I have to sum it up in something through the multi-dimensional, the multi-layers work that I do with my clients, that I do through my programs, that I do through my channel, the foundation of that is, who the fuck am I? Because once you have that knowing, once you have this relationship with yourself, which is ever moving, who is ever shifting, once you have that certainty, then life, like, is completely different. And so that to me is what liberation and authenticity means to me. And knowing that I move through different seasons, because a week ago, I'm still like just recovering from like the biggest like spiritual rebirth that I've gone through. And this time it is very, very physical. It's not like I've gone through an ayahuasca ceremony and the rebirth happening when I'm out of my body. It's like, this is very much a physical purge. like I was called, I was gonna say forced, but I was asked to sit with some of the deepest old programming that is living in my body. Like, I have not had asthma for a really long time when I went through my healing journey. The last time I felt this way was 2019. It was when I have discovered that, oh my God, there's this different part of me, like truly experienced it. And that was when I went completely on this wild and just like, let's go on this wild west journey and figure out who the fuck Adeline is and what is real, what's not. That was the catalyst of the Adeline here 4 years later. So I've lost myself there. What was I saying before? Going on this journey, we're going this wild west. Anyways, I completely lost that train of thought. Okay, now I remember. All right, now we're back. Of how I have not felt that sick in the last month in March. I call it like the biggest annihilation of my existence, of my human existence, of it was horrendous. And then it was a reminder that I needed to be human again. And it was a deeper initiation into love, into becoming love, into remembering love, into restoring love, into becoming love and choosing love as the template of how I want to walk this path on earth for the remaining parts of my human experience. And through that, there is a whole new me that comes through that. There's a bigger part of me that has died. And, I actually wrote it down somewhere in my journal that I never written down before, where it became very clear. It's like, it's a celebration of an end of an era. Like, it's a celebration that those parts of me have died because they have made me and shaped me the woman that I am today. So it's a celebration because that gives me the substance of who I am. Because if my path is meant to be a shaman in the jungle, in the Peruvian jungle, in the Amazon jungle, or I'm meant to be a priestess in the mountains of Himalayas, then I would have been born there. But there is also the part of me that is meant to be very much be in this human experience, to have the human desire and being able to denounce that at any point in time, to know that they're just part of my human experience and not needing to make it mean something if it didn't happen. And also, I don't have to be fucking plastering that I'm spiritual 24/7 and putting on my kimono and I've also experienced that. It was a great time of my life. But I can also be wearing bikini and a pair of jeans and still be preaching about God, about human existence, about our purpose and our vision for this planet as visionary, as entrepreneurs, as leaders. So I get to be whatever the fuck I want and however the fuck I show up. And this has been a thing that I have been working through even when I was working with more corporate clients, right? When I was working as the marketing lead with different professional companies. I remember I had this purple hair from my influencer gig. Told you I lived an interesting life. I was worried that I would not look professional because I have purple hair. And so I had to put it up in a bun. And I remember that. I see if I can find the video. I still have these Instagram stories in that. And even back then I was like, what, the color of my hair shouldn't really dictate my ability to provide results. And this has been something that I have held on continuously. And even if I'm working with a multi-billionaire CEO, It's just what it is. And I feel that I'm really owning up that I'm a breath of fresh air, that I can be proper and I like beautiful things and I have great standards. I love luxurious experiences, but also I like them because I enjoy the finest things in life, not because I'm trying to be pretentious, not because I'm trying to pretend that I understand jazz, but I love being taken away by jazz. Live jazz is my thing. Like I don't drink anymore. Like the last week, as I started to become a lot more social, it actually was so empowering that like people like, do you want tequila shots? And in the past I'm like, yeah, because I'm like always, I used to be the life of, I'm like, no, I'm gonna have my sparkling water. And then in the past, when, I go to like events and it comes with like a cocktail like ticket, and this place that I went to yesterday, it is a very good cocktail bar. Like the cocktail is like, I'm just not feeling my cocktail unless it's like $1,000 bottle of champagne, like a Cristal, or an aged 10 years wine that I really feel like taking. I'm like, you know what? I don't have this scarcity mindset anymore. Just because I have the ticket, I have to get an alcohol, I'm gonna get a mocktail. And some of you know that tobacco is my vice. Like I love tobacco on a shamanic level, on a human level. Tobacco is my thing. Not vape. I've done that a little bit, and nah. Whole new conversation on how vape is here to really continue to make humanity a lot less intelligent. But then I have people offering me and all of that, and being around that, and I feel like there was also a part. I feel like I want to give context of when I went through really inward in the last 3 years, like having to resurface out to society, to being around people, and to be able to share my work in this way again. I had social anxiety, which is a term that I would not have associated with being adolescent. Like there are a lot of things that you can think of like that I would say, yes, that's very adolescent. But social anxiety, no, like it wouldn't in a million like in a life that I would ever thought that I would be one. And so tobacco, like cigarettes, tobacco, I like to roll it, has been a part that helped me ground myself, to help me be centered. And so, when I talk to my clients around vices or, pleasures or whatever it is that you choose to do at this point of time, I really see that there are moments for it. There are seasons for it, especially if you have been highly driven, highly ambitious, fucking on the go all your life, like being so responsible. You need to let off the steam for a little bit. That's why you see when people get out of their 30 years marriage, when that should end like 10 years before, just go on the complete end and do every damn thing that they wanted to do for the past 30 years of their lives. It's just the rebalancing act. And this is also why I say, why don't you try it when that desire arises, and then decide if it's what you want? Because a lot of the time we also hold on to the novelty of, non-monogamous relationship is so cool. It's like there's all these different things of, the grass is always greener on the other side. And it is true to a certain extent. If you have not left your country, you have not left your town in which you grew up in, yes, the grass is definitely greener. But then part of being human, part of being an adult, part of the maturing process into a woman or into a man is knowing your path and knowing what you desire. It's knowing what matters to you. It's finding the balance between fun, aliveness, pleasure with responsibility. And that is the second part of what I want to cover about liberation, is that, the ones like us who break the mold, who have started our business, who live life on our own terms, went too far out on the other side, that we have lost touch with, some of the important traditional cultures of values, of earth wisdom, of responsibility, of integrity. Again, we're human, right? So the first part of that is to forgive ourselves of the mistake and not make ourselves wrong for it. That's a huge part of the shadow work. That's a huge part of the healing journey, is to meet yourself at every parts of your life, to meet yourself at different parts of, like, different corners of yourself, and hold her and hold him, and just be okay, and just be sad, and just be crying, and just do whatever it is that you need to do. And I'm sharing that because I told you, like, 2 weeks ago, like, homegirl does not look, homegirl is like, yeah. So the second part of liberation, and I feel that, you know, that is a conversation that hasn't been had, and I feel like that's where polarity is. It's dangerous, because we go too far out of that, and we don't know how to find that balance. We don't know how to journey through the full range of polarity and bring it back into oneness, into wholeness, versus the separation, versus here, you know, like wholeness. And so for people, you know, I think when we're burnt out, when, you know, we fight, everything that we worked hard for is not giving us what we want. Like, fuck this shit, let's go find something. Comes with the personality of people like us, right? And I think that's where I feel a lot of where the collective energy is heading to, especially for us who are here to be a steward of our mission, for us who are here to really create a new template for the new earth, who are here to live a life of self-expression, of love, of service. It's time to come back and redefine and re-examine our relationship with responsibilities, with discipline, with integrity, with commitment. Because the second part of the analogy is that, all right, so a lot of people are stuck in the buffet lifestyle, or like the buffet, you know, being stuck with choices every single fucking day. Like, you go and, you know, like, we are literally being drowned in choices in today's modern world. I've read somewhere the other day that what we are bombarded, the information that we're bombarded in one day, surpass what our ancestors go through in their lifetime. And with the rapid rate of how technology is progressing, and especially if you're running a business, you're doing all the things that you're here to do, like, your body, like, biologically, our nervous system, our body has not catch up with the rate of how technology is progressing. It's like how, if you think about a baby, if a baby is premature, you need all these devices to help the heart to develop, to functional. You need your organs to be functional. And so is our human body, is how we develop as an adult in maturing and in navigating through this fucking crazy world that we live in. And so liberation also means that your ability to dissolve all distractions, dissolve all noises, to cut through those noises and come back to what truly matters to you. And that is also authenticity, of knowing who you are, and knowing that as you change, your desire changes, your value changes. Some needs more refining, some needs more fine-tuning, but some is just completely opposite. And it's a question that you have to check in with yourself over and over again. And you're not gonna get the answer through your 20, I don't know what Amazon shopping is, like, not through that. It's through sitting with yourself. It's through having deep and meaningful conversations with people who can mirror back information to who you are. And, or, you know, if you don't have those people in your life, like, for example, through these conversations, what is coming up for you? What sensations are you feeling in your body? What is those sensations trying to tell you? If you have not had this practice for a while, you have to keep that question in your background and sit with it. And the question might come to you when you're in your the answer would come to you when you're in your shower or when you're driving. And I came across this quote around asking God for what you want, is that you don't expand to your next level by wanting to know the answer. You start by asking the question and then listen. And listen requires you to be present. Listen requires you to be in your body. And so if you don't even know the questions to ask yourself, well, the first step is to start asking questions, or start, a lot of the time I feel that my self-inquiry journey starts with like going through people that I feel like, it's where I want to be, or things that are aligned with my values, with my vibe. And then from that, a lot of the times when you follow this kind of resource online, is that it usually comes with journal prompts and questions. And don't be, I do that sometimes. I'm like, I would go through these 10 journal prompts. I'm like, oh, they're a great question. And then I don't actually sit with those questions, because we are going through journal prompts like we're going through our university exam of wanting to get the right answer, like now or about yesterday. But the whole point of self-inquiring is so that you can let the answer to come through. Let God speaks to you. Let your soul speaks to you. But in its space, in its presence. And you can't get the space and presence to listen if you're fucking constantly bombarding with 50 information at the same time. And how many of you are listening to this conversation while you're doing 3 other different things? How can you cultivate more presence and be fully in something when you're in something, and allow the discomfort to arise? Allow yourself to be with the discomfort, knowing that discomfort is not who you are. The discomfort could be a little nudge or indicator of a past experience, of a past memory. Or it could be something of where you need to move, shift, evolve in your life. Take that as information, the true information that you need, the true cosmic information that's trying to speak to you, not fucking information that is trying to like put you deeper down into la la land. And it is your responsibility as a leader, as an entrepreneur, as a visionary, as a revolutionary, to always be honest with yourself, because your truth is what directs the work that you're here to do. Because if you're not fully anchored into your truth, then are you truly sharing your fullest gifts to the world? And on that note, it's also important to know that, truth is not something that you get to, oh my God, I have enough truth now to share. Truth is what is authentic and alive to you right at this moment. And knowing that you are doing your best with the awareness, with the consciousness, with the experience that you have right now. And that's all you need. There is no 3 years degree with God, with your, the earth wisdom to graduate before you can share what you're here to share. No one has put you on a God's university of like, no, your truth is not, your truth is not good enough to be heard until you have done this for 4 years. And then the other side of this coin is that, are you really sharing your truth, or are you sharing from a place of performance? Because that was a journey that I have been through on my own. That is a journey because, I have been on the internet for 15 years, like content creation and sharing and being a messenger has been my thing before I knew it was a thing. So I started like really fresh, like, blogger.com, like really my online diary, my online journal. So I was here throughout the entire fucking evolution of internet. Like this body, gone through some shit. And the landscape changes, right? The landscape changes. And again, technology is a tool created by human. So we ultimately still hold power as to how we want our lives to be. And so we, like I love using kinky analogy. Is like, you got to show technology, you got to show AI, like artificial intelligence, who's the daddy? Like, you're the daddy, you and God is the daddy. So you guys are dictating how technology is going to influence your life. And it's a fucking relationship. It's not black and white, it's not linear. It's a fucking relationship. And I feel that in 2023, us as humans has forgotten the basic things of what makes us human and what connects us with one another and with the cosmos, with the universe, with God, is fucking relationship. And relationship takes communication, it takes presence, it takes the hard shit. And that was also a tough love that I have to swallow, that I have to work through, like the last 3 years of my life. And I'll be sharing a lot more in my upcoming programs and experience in my magazine and my diaries, which is Harta's magazine. If you haven't already, like, check it out. Relationship requires integrity, requires responsibility. Yeah. And so to close it up, so from what do you go from buffet? A la carte. Because if you know that, like, for example, I know what kind of cut I like sirloin, part of the steak. I don't have to go and all you can eat Brazilian barbecue to test out every fucking cut of the meat. I know what I want. I go and ask for a sirloin. I don't have to test out the full spectrum and the full range of all the different kings that people have. I know what I like and I know what I want to explore, and I ask for it straight out. I know, I know I like great wine, so I'm not going to like say yes when someone offers me goon. But you have to choose. It's great having options, but options mean nothing if you ain't choosing. It's like marketing. If you're marketing to everyone, you're not marketing to anyone. If you're not choosing, if you're not just if you're like not deciding, then you are already deciding that you're not choosing a path. It's like your yes means nothing if you can't say no. So it's like, for us who has got to a certain point in paving ways for ourselves through entrepreneurship, and now we are looking to living a more fulfilling life, to really creating something that changes the planet, that leaves the planet a better place than we came here. It's time to choose. Like, this is the time to choose what is in for you. If you don't know, it's okay. You can choose by now. I am choosing to only honor what's true to me. And I choose to always ask for my highest truth to be shown to me at every moment. I ask for clarity. I ask for what my heart and soul truly desire. But you have to choose that you are in this phase of figuring it out for yourself and taking whatever measure you need to do that. And for me, I had to move to a smaller town and go deep into this. Like, Uluwatu is like my womb, my womb of rebirth. I had to basically denounce every damn thing. And for me, I am very fortunate, and you know what? Kudos, Adeline, for having the courage to burn 2 tickets when everyone's telling me to go back to Australia. But my soul is like, no, you're gonna be here. It's like God is leading me to something bigger, and I honor that. So when you hear the answers, when you hear the guidance, follow that, trust. That is faith, that is grace, that is surrender. Because there's also the part you ask for the answers, and when the answer is given to you and you don't honor that, it's like, why the fuck are you asking again? Have you seen that in relationship? It's like, what do you want? And when you tell them what do you want, and like, no, do you want that? Fuck that shit. That ain't happening in my field. And so decide what it is that you want. If you're on this path of figuring shit out, committed to that. So whatever it is that is not in alignment to you finding your deepest truth, friends that are no longer aligned with you, friends who are just there to mask their sorrows through drinks, through all sorts of hedonism things, cut them out of your life, at least for now, and tell them, I am doing the most important work that I need to do now as a leader, as a visionary, as my mission on this planet. Then I'm gonna do whatever it needs to fucking live that shit out, because it comes with great responsibility. Great power comes with great responsibility, which means your sexual energy and money. One is in the physical world, one is in the unseen, to bring things into the physical world. Both are the greatest power on this planet. And this is why the planet is out of fucking control, is because this power has gone out of control. This power, human are trying to overtake this power and thinking they are God instead of letting God do the thing. So what do you do to restore the balance? You need to start having difficult conversations about power, sex, and money. Two of the most highly charged words on the planet. It's like we avoid every damn thing to talk about it besides the very thing. Sex is sex. It is energy exchange, but it's also sex. Money is energetic exchange, but it's also money. This is what I've seen in the spiritual space of, okay, let's talk about energetic exchange. Everything is an energetic exchange. That is the law of the universe. But there comes a point of like, all right, what kind of energetic exchange we're talking about here? Are we exchanging sex for money? In which level? In a higher state of consciousness, exchanging sexual energy for money is just through your creation as an artist, through whatever it is that you're burning through, whether it's a business, whether it's a family, it's still sex and money, because you need money as a form of exchange, whether money is a currency through crypto. You still need money to exchange for crypto. So you still have to talk about it. And just because we don't talk about it doesn't mean that it goes away. And I know this very well because homegirl is avoidant as fuck for all her life. And through every moment of initiation that I was put through every death and rebirth portal that I had to fucking walk through, it's just so that I can face the parts, the things that I have been avoiding. And there are moments where your nervous system don't have the capacity to deal with it, especially massive emotions. I get it, because I did not have emotions for the first 30 years of my life. And so needing that space, 3 years, to fucking just deal with those emotions, to feel safe to do those emotions. And then it comes a point where, okay, you can't run away from it anymore. It's time to face it head on. Then you have to do it. Like you can't not talk about it. And I know that because I'm like, oh, it's energetic exchange. Oh, it's resource. Oh, but it's money. In our language, in our cognitive brain and intelligence, it's still money. Your brain registers money unless you've created a new world in utopia, which hopefully that would happen. That's the long-term vision where truly no one ever mentioned money. That's the new template that you've created. But until then, sex and money are power, the greatest power in this planet at this moment. And so to be able to create a new template, a new way of thinking of how money works for us and how we want money to be resourced and steward in a way that is not just for our own good, but also for the greater good of humanity and how we can support that. We need to have those tough conversations. And money and sex, what you like, what you don't like, what have you gone through? How are you using this sexual energy? Conversations, because one of the biggest lessons that, it took me a while to finally openly talk about why I've chosen celibacy and being able to share that part is because so many of us women have activated our sexual energy and we don't know how to channel it back. We don't know how to regulate it. And we just, because women at core, we are nurturers, we are lovers. So we want to give this away. But not everyone is ready to receive your precious sexual energy. So it's like you were given a Ferrari and you don't know how to drive the Ferrari, and so you crash within 5 seconds of starting the car. Same with this sexual energy, this kundalini, this life force. It's a relationship. You gotta learn how to work with it. And that's why, people that has gone through spiritual awakening feels like they're going through psychosis. Fucking there were moments I thought, am I losing my fucking mind? And then you have to learn to work with it. Seek help, seek the support, work, be Be true to yourself. You can't want to live a life of truth, but you can't even face your own truth of who you really are. Because if that's the case, then you'll start questioning the entire existence of this planet. So sex and money are great power, and it comes with great responsibility. And if you are here on a mission, if you know you're the visionary, you're the leader, you're the entrepreneur that is here to create a better world, not just for yourself, but your children, and your children's children, like you are the ancestors of the future generation, then first it comes with responsibility and integrity of the power that you have. And responsibility means being able to say no to things that no longer are aligned. It means having to cut through everything that is not supporting the evolution of where you're going. Like you are welcoming and inviting everyone to join you on this journey. But you're not here to wait till everyone is ready, because that's not your job. Because no, everyone will never be ready at the same time. And also, you're not here to make people feel comfortable of the lack of responsibility. You're not here to make people feel comfortable of the inability to make decisions. It's not your job for you to save people who don't want to be saved. It's not your job here to share your truth for people who want to stay in this collective amnesia for the rest of their lives. It's their karma to walk. Your job is to walk your karma, to transmute your karma into your dharma, to alchemize your darkness into your light and share it with the world. That's it. 51 minutes later, the message from God that wants to come through came through to you. So that's it. Got it all out, and take it whatever it is that you want to take. And if you need additional resource, I have tons of videos that you can go through that supports you through different parts of my journey. I have been documenting that, so feel free to check it out. Or if you want a more, intimate space, if you're ready to just like, fuck it, it's just a focus, one-on-one space where we get to connect on a deeper level. I also work with CEO, entrepreneurs, and visionary who knows that they're here to create the template of the ancient future. Send me a message on Instagram or send me an email. I'm going to put them down in the description box below. If you're listening to this on the podcast, in your show notes. And I have a range of programs in which you get to tap back into this innate power that you have inside of you, that you get to connect to what's deep inside of you, to remember who the fuck you are, because as a leader, as a visionary, it no longer is just this ends with me. Is that this ends with me and this begins with me. So you not only are setting yourself free and breaking free of generational chains, you are creating a new path for your future generations. You are creating a new way of living. You are rewriting the story for humanity, and it starts with you. And that's it. That's all I have. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. We're just saying what we said 10 years ago. Or if you feel that anyone of your friends, your co-workers, anyone that could benefit from this video, share this with them too. Because we are, you know what? Back to, this is the last part of like conversations that we don't want to have. And I have to also re-examine my relationship with social media, with technology, because sometimes I just want to go do some things, make enough money for myself, and just not be in the midst of everything. But at the same time, how do you fight the darkness? With love, with light. So how can people who want to wake up when there is no other form of media as medicine? And that's how I feel sometimes when I'm like, I can't even watch half the shows here because I can see through the bullshit and there's nothing to watch. And I really appreciate like conscious media. And so what's my job as a visionary, as an artist, as a leader, is that I have to go show up and share what I'm here to share. So that's a whole new relationship, and we need to have conversations about what we don't like so that we can create a better solution. We can create a new world. And I'm going to dive a lot deeper into that through different videos. And if you are a manifestor, I know that there are a lot of manifestors here, that's how you guys found me. I have a very exciting experience that's coming through called the Manifestor Incubator. And so stay tuned for that. If that's something that you want to be informed first, check out Manifestor Diaries. And until next time, bye for now.